Hey everybody, it's Gunny here. Welcome to my quick start tutorial for Empyrion Galactic Survival. Figures about time I do one since I've never done one before for this game. And give you as concise of a quick start guide as I can. I'll go through as much as possible. Alright, so some of this will also apply to multiplayer. Of course, you got to keep in mind that a lot of servers are customizable, and so therefore a lot of things such as starting planets and names, etc., are bound to change. But the basic planet types are all still the same. There's the temperate planet, which is breathable. There is the desert planets that are more sparse-looking and desert-like that are not breathable. And there's also the alien and ice and the lava style planets and so forth. And generally those are not breathable as well. So the easiest planet to start on, of course, is one with a breathable atmosphere, because that way you don't have to worry about generating oxygen as much, except for when you need to be underwater and in space and so forth. At least when you're running around on the planet, you're not going to be running out of oxygen. And that's important to consider if you're worried about not dying a lot. Okay, so starting a new game, I'm only going to be talking about the survival mode. I'm not going to be talking about creative, because that's basically just building only. So, you can select that, of course, right here in the menu. And the seed is what the planetary generation is based off of. Think of the Genesis project from Star Trek where they terraform a planet or whatever. When you start a new planet, it will be the same every time if you use the same seed number. So you can start on a planet, try out that seed, see how you like it. If there's lots of resources around or nearby when you come down, that might be a factor of whether you want to try a different seed maybe. But I'm going to go ahead and do a custom of easy. That way there should be lots of resources and things around to help get you started. And also here's the starting planets I was telling you about. Akua is the temperate planet, which is has the breathable atmosphere and lots of food and creatures and stuff to harvest. A lot of them are hostile, so you gotta watch out, especially for the plant monsters and the night raptors. And spiders. Those are the three common things that will attack you on Akua for any reason. There's other mobs that won't attack you unless you attack them first. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. We won't go through any of the customizations because those are pretty self-explanatory. I will be giving tips for multiplayer, of course, as well, such as how to easily start generating coin. Or get some coins so that you can buy resources or whatnot from other players off the marketplace, from the trade centers. And I'll go over that in a minute. But here, when you first come in, you come in an escape pod, and all your starting gear is inside the escape pod. So it's very important that as soon as you touch down, you get into your escape pod, get those resources out. There's a POI over there. You want to avoid those because those will kill you. Any of them that have turrets on them. But I want to head away from that and near some kind of water, because water's also important for survival and for making things such as food, and putting your oxygen generator and your water generators need to be placed in water. So we'll go ahead and touch down over here. Hope there's not a bunch of spiders or anything. I didn't see anything coming down, so it looks good. And when you hit, you'll be knocked out temporarily. And then you come to, you're on the planet, and there goes your thing. Sometimes these roll all the way into the water, so you gotta swim underwater and get your stuff out. And if you're like mobs that are gonna attack you like right away, you can go under the water, and oftentimes they will not bother you anymore. They'll run away because they won't go in the water. And so you can see I got my helmet on when I go in third person by pressing V for view. And on this breathable planet, you press U to toggle your helmet. And now I got my helmet off, and I can breathe. And you can toggle free look with the Alt key, so you can look around. And when you're in free look, you can use the mouse wheel to zoom in and out as well. Alright, so the first thing you're going to want to do, they do have a PDA guide that kind of will guide you on what you need to do in steps to get started. Some of it may not be exactly clear how to get those started, but so we'll go ahead and start with our survival constructor. As it says in the PDA, put down your survival constructor, and that can be placed on terrain. So we're going to drag that to my toolbar, and number 1 is what I have selected, so I'll just put it down here, and there's our constructor. Alright, next step is put all your crafting materials and start your motorbike. So all these are your resource ingots. There's other types of ingots available later in the game for other resources on the moon and on other planets and so forth. And that's for building advanced items. So we're going to go ahead and put all our crafting resources in there. And see, the next step, it says add fuel pack templates. And what that means is start a fuel pack in the constructor. And that's on our resources tab. You can see here there are several tabs for different types of things that you can make, starting with the survival constructor or focusing on the resources tab here now. First, we're going to go ahead and start that. That's been added. And in all constructors, there's an on-off switch to start and stop construction. And if you can queue up many items in the queue, and if you want to make changes to the queue or delete items or so forth, you have to stop production, and then you can remove items and add items and then start the production again. So we're going to go ahead and start that. And it says add motorbike template, and we've already got the construction kit for a motorbike ready to go, so we switch over to the devices tab, and that's where the motorbike is constructed once you have the kit made. So go ahead and do that. And everything will be placed in the output queue when it's completed. And you can either leave it in the output queue, and then things that are used in other recipes will automatically be pulled from the output queue, or you can then pick up those items, transfer them to your inventory, or then transfer them back into the constructor from here. Like, put those in there because I'll be needing those for something else later. Alright, so we got our motorbike. Good enough. We go to our inventory. You can deploy that by putting it on your toolbar, selecting that button, and then placing it on the terrain. Then you press F to activate. F is basically your interface with anything button. Take a look up here. Looks like we might find some more food and things over here. That's fiber over here on our right. That's used a lot in food processing, so you want to get a lot of those. Alright, so now that we're here, I'm going to go ahead and put this bike away. That's a quick starter way to get around. Alright, now I was telling you earlier that you can get started making coins really early in the game by going into your PDA and going to the single player missions. And the first quest here is Delicious Green Eating Akua. And go ahead and click on that and then click Activate Mission. And that gives you a new quest here in your HUD. And it's basically collecting 4 different things on this planet. And when you do, you'll be awarded 10 coins, which you can then deposit into an ATM at the trade center, and that will transfer into 500 credits that you can then spend on the marketplace for resources and so forth. I don't know if 500 credits is going to be the continued starting amount for that quest because it's kind of high. It's ridiculously high to get 500 credits really for starting, but hey, I'm not complaining. But so we'll go ahead and here's the this bush is the Akua berry bush, which is one of the steps. We got that. The second one is corn dogs, which is these plants here. The corn dogs you can pretty much eat right away without cooking. Or actually, you can't cook them. They're just edible as they are. And there is a slight risk of food poisoning from eating them. So you have to either take a antidote pills or something if you get sick. And also honey, natural honey will cure food poisoning here as well. So I'm going to eat that. And you can see that the food, my food quantity went up in my HUD there. Alright, so the next things are to collect the honey and the textured plant proteins, but we'll worry about that later. And of course you can also eat the berries right away. Just right click. Shift right click to instantly consume anything from your inventory. And that's convenient too if you like find you're traveling in space and you're like on a spaceship or whatever. You can hit tab or I or whatever to open your inventory, whatever key you've got your inventory set for. Tab is the default. I like to use I. But so if you're traveling in space and you're getting hungry, or you're getting low on oxygen, but you're on a moving ship, or whatever, someone's driving, you can just open your inventory and shift right-click on oxygen or food or whatever to consume it. That way you don't have to stop the ship. Because if you want to get out of your seat on a ship, the vehicle has to be in a stop, or else you go flying through the wall and be lost in space. Alright. So let's equip our little weapon up. You get a starter pistol, of course. It's pretty weak, of course, and let's see, what level are we? So I'm only level 2. Oh, I just need a tiny bit more XP to get level 3, and then we can build a better starting gun. So let me just pick something. Oh, looks like we got a textured protein over here, so that's step 3 of my food quest. All I need is an alien honey plant. That looks like a big orange worm or something coming out of the ground. They're honey grow, and then when you get close you can hear like bees buzzing on it, and that's your orange honey thing. And I bet it'll probably be over in that forest over there is our best shot to find it, because it's usually around areas like that. And you also have a jetpack, which gives you short bursts of jump ability, and you can see in the lower left corner down here you got your jetpack boost bar, and that just automatically recharges. So I'll just run it.
I've already seen like 6 people.
Okay.
Because I thought you were someone else.
Keep my eyes open for spiders and whatnot, but I'm also looking for that honey so I can complete this quest. There it is. See, look at that thing. Looks like it would bite your face if you got too close, but nope, it's a honey nest. Alright, so check my inventory. There's my 10 gold coins. It says convert into credits, place into the ATM deposit slot. And you can find ATMs on every planet. If you scroll around and look for these chevrons symbols here, that is the trade station. And you'll find an ATM there and a trade thing, a marketplace. And so if somebody sells you something on the marketplace, you can go there to buy it or pick it up if you pay for it or whatever. But I'm not worried about that right now because we're on a single player test server. And you can see the different nodes on the map that I've already detected in my area when I came down. And there's going to be a lot more around here. If you look over here on the right, it tells you how many total deposits are on the planet and how many of those you've discovered so far.
Nope.
Alright, so I think I just made level 3 now. Yep. So I'll introduce you to the tech tree, which is F3. And this is where your unlocks come from for all the different things as you level. So as I mentioned, when you get level 3, you unlock a new weapon. That's the assault rifle. So I've unlocked that, and as you level, you get a certain amount of unlock points available so that you can build things. You just can't build everything right away. In survival, you have to level up. But you can get to level 7 on the starter planet and unlock enough tech on the starter planet to build a small vessel, which will allow you to travel to nearby planets or the moon. And the moon also contains additional resources that allow you to build a warp drive, which will allow you to get out of your system. And the 2 additional resources that you're going to require that are not available on this planet, but you have to go to the moon or a nearby asteroid in the asteroid belt, are Erestrum and Sathium. Erestrum is only available on the moon, but Sathium is available on the moon and on a few select asteroids in the asteroid belt. The moon does also contain POI enemy bases, so you gotta watch out when you're flying around. Just don't go flying towards, an unknown base, because you'll get shot down and killed. And then you'll be stranded, and you'll have to fresh start back onto the planet. You'll keep your level and everything when you fresh start, but you won't get all the resources. You'll just get a handful of tools, enough so that you can go start mining again and get more resources if you haven't saved anything up at your main base. Alright. So, I'm going to go ahead and cancel that other quest now, so we can go back to the main quest. Okay. So I'll switch back to the tutorials and back to survival base camp. Alright, next step, place O2 generator in the water. So that looks like this. It's buildable here on this tab, but not in a survival constructor. So you would have to build a base before you could build another O2 generator. So make sure you don't lose this anywhere. Especially if you start on Omicron. It's of paramount importance on a planet that you actually need oxygen. Alright, so we got that. We got our little bit of fuel packs, so we're good to go. Let's come down to the water, because, like I said, the O2 and the H2O generators have to go into the water. So put that on our toolbar, select it, and it doesn't have to go way down or anything. It just has to be at the edge of the water. Put that down, then you access it with F. And you throw some fuel in there. Ba-bam! As soon as you fill it up, it automatically starts and will begin to automatically produce O2 bottles for you. They look like that. And the O2 bottles go into your oxygen tanks on your bases and on your vessels. Or you can also take those big O2 bottles, put them in your constructor, and then make small survival O2 bottles, which I don't see here. Oh, they're on this tab here, which is the weapon and item tab. Small bottles look like that, and then they don't give you a lot of oxygen, so it's kind of a waste of the big O2 bottles, but they work if you need to be running around a lot on a place that has no oxygen. And again, shift right click will allow you to consume that, or you can drag it to your hotbar for faster access. Alright, mining. You get started with a basic drill that allows you to mine resource nodes. Let's see, it looks like this silicon node over here, so that'll be good for our demonstration. The basic starting drill works, but it's slow and you have to manually pick up all the resources that you drill. Once you get to level 7, you can, well actually I think you can, let me double check. You go to tools and then you can upgrade your drill at level 7, yeah. And that's the T2 drill. But in order to build that, you need those resources off the moon. So you're going to be needing a small vessel before you can get the T2 drill. So my advice is don't try to start on a hover vessel first, because they give you a little motorcycle to get around on. Save all your resources for your minimalist base to get started. Of course, you can expand that later, but get started with a basic base first. And then next you want to concentrate on building your small vessel, because that will allow you to get around the quickest and the farthest when you're starting out. More resources used in cooking. Aloe vera is makes like med kits. Alright, so we're at the point where it says consume an item. That done just by shift right clicking something. So yeah, past that node. Here we are. You can see the indicator how close you are to the node. You want to get about right on top of it, and then you'll start drilling. You can see as I start to drill down, you can see the color change from gray to this brownish, almost copper-like color in the dirt. And that's when we know we are getting some ore. And you're going to get two types of stuff when you're drilling. The main stuff of the node that you're actually drilling, promethium or iron or whatnot. And then you're also going to get crushed stone, which is just extra rocks and stuff that you get. Those are very important to get, because you can build concrete blocks with that. And that's one of the cheapest and easiest building resources you can get when you're starting out. Get a little bit or whatever. And you have to pick them all up by hand. When you get the T2 drill, it automatically picks up the resources for you. So you don't have to run and pick up all the little stuff. Alright, so we're going to get back. Oop, stubbed my toe or something. Broke a nail. Alright. Next quest. Oops, sorry. Next quest is actually to kill and loot an animal. So I don't want to do that with my starter pistol, because that's a piece of junk and probably get messed up. So I think I did upgrade with that. So I need some metal components and electronics to build an assault rifle. So I go to our resources, and that's where those are. Electronics. I need 1 electronics and 5 metal components. So this outputs 2 per unit, so that's 2, 4, 6 of those right there. Then when those are all compiled up, and I've got enough resources in the output, and I switch back to the tab, you can see I can build that now. So go ahead and click that. Alright, tip about your real constructors. Once you build your first base, and you build a large constructor for it, using all the resources that it can buy, resources and components that it requires, the large constructor will automatically queue up the components for things that you need automatically in the construction queue. So you don't have to pre-make your control devices and electronics and metal components and cables and so forth. So if you want to build a weapon, all you do is click it, and then the components will automatically queue the metal plates and the electronics, and then once it's done with those, it'll automatically create the weapon. So that's what's nice about the real constructors. And there's 2 other types of real constructors besides your survival constructor. The basic large constructor, which is the first one you can make with a survival constructor, and then when you get enough resources and high enough level, you can build the advanced constructor, which is faster, and it also allows you to make advanced items that the large constructor and survival constructors can't make. Alright, so we got our weapon. Now we need a little bit of ammo for that, and this one uses the 5.8mm ammo, so you go to the weapons tab and see We need more metal pieces and some magnesium powder. We already got our magnesium powder, so let's craft up some metal pieces. Which are these items right here. I'll just make a bunch because we're going to craft up a little bit of ammo here. Let's switch back to our ammo tab. You can see that it's ready to go there, so I'll queue up a few of those. Here's a little portable work light. Oops. We can put that down for when nighttime comes. Kind of see your stuff here. And you can pick it back up and move it or whatever. Okay. Alright, so we got our first 50 rounds of ammo. That's good enough for a start, because we're just going to go kill something to update this quest. Alright. And when you kill animals, they usually drop meat, which is good for food. So I'll go ahead and switch to my assault rifle. Load it, and I'm going to press R to reload or load it up because it has no ammo. And we're going to go hunt. Some birds. Can't shoot the birds. They're just birds. Bird. So the bird is the word. I'm sorry, I won't do that again. Alright, so we're looking for an animal. You guys see anything? I hear woodpeckers, but I just don't see anything around here. This is well, guess all the creatures are hiding from me. So let's take a little trip. So I'm gonna turn my my jetpack's on. Okay, we'll go this way. Hold on. I heard something, but there we go. We got some. Oh boy, a pack of raptors. Yep, they are. Well, luckily they're easy, because I set everything for easy mode. Usually on most servers they're much more difficult than that, and it would be challenging for you. Yeah, there we go, we're looting them up. And that reminds me of another survival tip for PvP servers. Let's say you're in a PvP server on a hostile PvP planet, and you're minding your own business doing some harvesting, and some guy runs up and starts trying to shoot you. Well, you can instantly log out of the game by hitting escape and hit the quit button, and you will instantly exit out of the game with no lag or anything, so that the other person can still kill you. So you can instantly escape PvP, at least when you're on foot with all your stuff, just by quickly logging out. You know, and then come back like 10 minutes later or something when that guy's gone. But that's a good quick escape in PvP. I remember I was just messing with somebody on a PvE server where you can't even hurt him, and I started shooting the guy, and he instantly logged out. I guess he thought it was a PvP server. But yeah, it works. Anyway, so as we said, this thing automatically makes oxygen. We got some oxygen there. Very nice. Throw that back in the constructor here. Stock it up. Alright, so our next quest is cook a steak or salami. Well, we got a bunch of meat from those raptors, so we throw that in our constructor, go to the food tab, and there's the salami. We'll make a bunch of those because the raw meat it will perish if you don't keep it in a refrigeration unit. But when you craft the salami, it lasts more than 3 times longer than raw meat. So that's good to carry around in a pinch when you just need some food. Stocking them up. More of my bullets. Well, of course, the next step in the quest is to craft the assault rifle and craft ammo. But they should have had you do that before you kill and loot an animal, because it makes it a lot easier with an assault rifle. But you can actually go into the quest, and on some of these steps you can skip it if you've already done it. Let's see, won't you let me skip it? Yeah, this one it won't let me skip. You usually can skip them. But it's easy enough just to craft another weapon, just to get rid of it. Metal components. Done. Craft a tiny bit of ammo, and that will update that quest for me real quickly. I'm going to be done with that section of the tutorial. Now, your starting magnesium for ammo is very limited, so you don't want to try to get all gun happy right at first.
Oh, that's your number 9.
But another thing that you can use as a weapon in a pinch is the saw, which is right here, the chainsaw. And this is technically the only melee weapon in the game. It wasn't really designed as a melee weapon, but this is a tool for chopping down wood to get, log or wood blocks. But it works great as a melee weapon. Oh yeah, you automatically get the wood now in your inventory. 3 wood logs. But yeah, this little saw works great as a melee weapon because it kind of stuns whatever you're hitting with it. So like once you get in range of a creature, it might bite you once, but as long as you keep the saw on it, it's just totally stunned and it can't even hit you until it dies or you run out of saw ammo. Which the T1 saw the saw and the T1 drill both use the biofuel, which looks like these big water jugs kind of, but that's the biofuel. And biofuel only comes from seaweed, which seaweed can only be found in water here. I'm going to put my helmet back on with you, because I'm going to be using oxygen now. But this water deposit might actually be too small or too shallow to have seaweed in it. But yeah, there'll be little clumps of seaweed or longer strands of like kelp-style seaweed that grows out of the water. And you collect those to create biofuel for your saw and the T1 drill. And you do have a built-in automatic light, and you can turn that on by pressing L. Yeah, this water is a little too shallow, so you'd have to go to a larger one of the bodies of water to get that in there. And they also contain blue crystals that you can collect, and when you collect those, you can those are used for warp fuel in warp drives for large capital vessels. Now, there's not a lot in water. Most of the blue crystals you're going to find are going to be found on the moon. So you can, once you get your SV, you can go on a mining mission to the moon, and you'll be able to scavenge a bunch of crystals there as well. And you will take falling damage, obviously, from certain height on up. Not exactly sure where that starts. Maybe like 4 or 5 meters or something. Anyway, so next quest step is to pick up ore. We'll go back to our handy little silicon deposit that we had here before. To update that, drill the ore drops and then pick up a piece. And we got that. Alright. On to the important part of creating your first base. Now, there are aliens on this base, on this planet, that are hostile and don't like you and they want to come and kill you. And usually the triggering factor for that to happen is when you put your base down. So once you do put your base down, that triggers waves of drone assaults to begin. And so what will happen is every so often you'll get an alert on your HUD that pops up. Uh-oh. Oh, okay. Let me show you these guys. These are villagers. They're not hostile. These are like Talon Village Guardians or whatever. What's this guy called here? Yeah, Talon Guardian. And they're not hostile. They're just kind of like little planet hippies. They live in a village. They walk around with sticks. And they make that noise. That's about it. But they do carry items, and they will drop, like, of all things, like little credit cards that you can also convert into credits on the thing. So it's another source of stuff and income. I'm not going to mess with these guys now because I don't need all that. But, so it says we're ready to put our base down. So where am I? Oh, I went the wrong way. But I found another deposit, so that's cool. And you can't swim very well when you have something equipped, so you gotta press 0, and you go hands-free. And I was hoping this would be deep enough to have a little sample of the seaweed in here for me to show you. And my stamina wore out from too much sprinting. You can recharge stamina with basic purified water. It only does a little bit. Or you can make these coffee drinks later that replenishes a lot. That's good enough. We can do a little bit more sprinting. Yeah, it's another too shallow. Well, once you find a bigger water deposit, you can, like I said, find the seaweed and crystals. And one other thing that grows down there. Alright, so we're going to go back near our survival constructor so we can build our base. Put my bike down. Like I said, you can press Alt for free look and the mouse to zoom in or out. And it is like nighttime now, and that's usually when more spiders and plant monsters and raptors come out to get you. So they mostly come at night. Mostly. Okay, thanks, Newt. Alright, so your base starter, you ain't got one, so you gotta build one. And so you go to your blocks tab, and you'll see there's the base starter in there. And it requires 1 core, an item, the core, to build. They give you a core to start with, which is nice, because a core takes a lot of items to build. You go to your devices tab, or, yeah, where's my core go? Right there. You can see it takes metal components, electronics, computers, and cables. So we already got one, so we put that in our constructor, and then we go back over to blocks, and hit base starter. And the base starter is just like the core with a few blocks around it that you can then build off of to expand and grow your base and put things down. So I'll put that in my inventory. base. There's kind of level somewhere and plop this down at. I guess we can put it down here by the water or something. Okay, this looks like good enough. So we put the starter block in our toolbar again, and you can raise and lower the starting level of it with the page up and page down keys. I like to put mine kind of low, so I don't have like a base that's way up. It's kind of like a mobile home, you know, it's like way up on blocks and you got stairs everywhere, or you can put it on a foundation. So I like to put mine kind of low. There you go. There's your little core. Well, actually, it doesn't have the blocks around it. You got to add those. That's just your starter core in the shape of a base starter. Now you're going to need the other items for your base. First of all, you're going to need some blocks, which require metal plates. So we go over to our resources, and we're going to craft a stack of 10, which will turn into 100 steel plates. Eat some food here. Stack these up in inventory. Move to the constructor. Okay. So we got 100 plates. That'll be good for a few starter blocks anyways. So capital vessels and bases use steel blocks large, and small vessels and hover vessels use the steel blocks small. Large blocks take 2 steel plates, small blocks take 2, and large take 10. So we're gonna make 10 blocks. Let's see, we did harvest some of that crushed stone, so I'm going to put some of that in there. Go back over to our resources. Let's see, you see one of the building blocks is concrete blocks, and that requires cement, so we go to our resources, and then we look for the cement tab, which is not here, so you might not actually be able to build it without a... Oh, there it is, cement, and requires the rock dust. Okay, so we put our crushed stone in, which then converts to rock dust. So you make a bunch of rock dust, throw that in the constructor, and now you can make cement. So I'm gonna make a bunch of cement. And then again, once you have like the main constructors on your base, you just go to the items that you want to build, click on it, and then it will automatically craft the subcomponents for you. Cement queued up, so I'm going to queue up some concrete blocks as well. Those are cheaper than using iron blocks. Iron comes from the iron ingots, which comes from the iron deposits. But rock dust, or concrete, comes from rock dust, which can be drilled pretty much anywhere. And it's a cheaper material to build with than iron, so it's not good for like a PvP or for a real sturdy base. But it's good for whipping up something up real quick. And I mean, it's good enough for like a base to defend against like POIs and NPCs, spawns like the drones and stuff. So you put a few turrets up on your base, and you're good to go. Some blocks here. Looks like we can make a few more. So we can queue those up and then go over to our starter base here. Then we put our blocks on our toolbar. I'm going to start with concrete for the base foundation. And you can click once, or you can click and drag. Click. Click and then drag this way. And click and drag this way. I've got my small 3x3 foundation. And you can see the dirt's kind of covering up here because of the topographic level here. So you can drill that away with your drill. edges, because you got to be able to see the side in order to attach your block to it when building. So then I go like that. So we can call this like the back wall. So I'm gonna raise this up here, and you don't have to have every room a minimum of 2 blocks high, but the grow rooms and the grow blocks that you use to grow food, the grow lights that go above your grow blocks have to be there has to be 2 blocks of space between the grow block, the grow plot, and the grow light above it. So it can't be 3 above it, and it can't be 1 above it. It has to be 2 high. So keep that in mind when building a grow room for your food. Alright, so let's make the foundation a little bit wider over here. See if I got any more concrete blocks left that I crafted. No, 20 more. Oh, look at that. I forgot to take my helmet off. You can see my oxygen is now down to half. So don't forget, if you see yourself running out of oxygen, that's why. Okay, we're going to put our concrete blocks back on our toolbar and put them down. Alright, now you can see I've just been putting the basic square blocks down here. And you're like, but what about other fancy shapes? Is it just blocks? Alright, so I got my blocks selected here. And now I'm going to right-click my right mouse button. And that brings up the shape selector. And voila, you can build all these shapes by selecting whichever shape you want here. You can build thin walls. This is your 45-degree slopes and your curves and so forth. And you got solid curve pieces and hollow curve pieces. And the hollow ones are better if you want to make like a thin-looking wall inside and have it retain the shape from the inside. Alrighty. Well, I like the thick wall construction, so I'm going to keep using this good old square blocks here for now. And we're going to come this way here a little bit. And I think this way. Oh, look, you get some crushed stone from drilling the dirt. So that's all. It's basically what we're building our base out of right now. I'm going to use like the steel for some of the sides and the roof to put the turrets on, because it's a little bit stronger to help defend against drones and so forth. Alrighty, so let's see, we got 5 more concrete blocks. Let's just come on in here for 5. Okay. Throw that in there. Wood logs. And as you can see now, I can build these wood planks from the wood logs. Also some more rock dust and cement and concrete blocks and wood blocks. Once these are all done, then I'll have some more building materials. Now each base requires some components to actually be functional, and that is your fuel tank, your power generator, and basically the fuel tank and the power generator to be functional. But The next thing you're going to have to build, of course, is your large constructor. But let's queue up the components. You're going to want to queue up your components for all that stuff. Metal components, capacitor devices. Those are expensive. So, make up a bunch of your sub stuff first. Metal plates, probably some of these. Couple computers, couple motors. Alright, so all that stuff's crafting up. Go ahead and take these building blocks over and add a little bit more to our base. Alright, next big tip. The construction drone. You have a really cool remote controlled drone that you can access anytime by pressing F5. I'm going to do that now. And you can see, get this little drone. And you can control it just basically like the flight controls. Strafe you can roll with Q and E. Strafe left and right with A and D. And up is space and down is C. Okay, this is great for building in areas that are hard to reach when you're on foot. And you can also access things like your constructor and transfer it to your inventory with this. As long as it's not too far away. These only have a limited range. As you can see, I can get close enough to my constructor that I can actually pull things out into my inventory where I'm standing. That's also kind of handy if, like, you get killed and your pack is like up over a hill where a bunch of spiders are all hanging out by your pack and it's hard to get to. So you get someplace nearby where they can't see you, then pop out your drone and then fly it over to your pack and get your stuff out, and they won't attack your drone. Believe me, that was a lifesaver when I discovered that. Literally. Oops. So we're gonna put some more blocks right here just to even her out. Alright. And let's see. I guess we could make the front of the base like right here. Oops. Actually, let's make this the back of the base now, because I just put a block right where I was going to put the door hole. Oops, see, I got too far. No problem. Okay, so we got a bunch of junk here. Let's get all this out of here. Bonk. We're going to transfer all this stuff to the constructor so my output queue doesn't get filled up with junk. Got some wood blocks, but it looks like we can make a whole bunch more wood blocks. Wood blocks are the cheapest building material there is. They're really weak. And it's kind of expensive to get because you got to go chop down a tree using the saw. The saw uses the biofuel, and so does the drill, where you could just be drilling stuff and get rock dust automatically as you're going, and there's always a lot of it. So, but oops. I'm just going to use wood blocks to fill in some of this stuff now, because I got it. I'll leave a hole for a door right there. just cover that over here. Okay, so there I got a basic 4-wall base started. Now, the drones haven't come yet because it isn't actually powered up yet, is what my theory is. Unless they just start coming now, then I can put my foot in my mouth. But I haven't powered up with the generator and the fuel tanks yet, so that's probably why they're not attacking. So next up, fuel tank. Then it's going to be their generator, and that's going to, the only thing I need is a reactor core. But building this reactor core, I need some pipes and cables, pipes and cables, pipes and cables, pipes and cables.
How is cat
Okay. And pipes. I don't have enough pipes in there. There we go. Okay, one reactor core coming up. Okay, I got my fuel tank. I'm ready for the reactor or generator. Nope, electronics. Need a couple because I used a couple, I guess. Alright, there we go. Okay, let's see. Well, I put all the fuel in the O2 generator, so let me make a couple more packs to put in the base fuel tank. This is what the fuel packs look like, and they use promethium. Okay.
Let's see this color. It looks disgusting.
Alright, we've got enough fuel packs at least to power it up. So we got our generator, and we got our fuel tank. Now, normally you equip those on your toolbar, and then you select it to place it. Now, as you can see, I can stick it on here or whatever, or you can also stick it underneath. But let's see, I need my repair tool for that. Okay, so next up on our tech tree, F3, you go to your tools, and get your multi-tool unlocked. And that allows you to remove blocks, repair blocks, and a couple other functions. Dismantle things. Alright, so we're gonna build up that tool. What do I need? What do I need for that? Just got everything except for an electronics. So I'll go ahead and craft me up an electronics. Oh, and some metal pieces for the fuel. Okay, and that's the multi-charge fuel pack for the tool. Get me one of them. And the tool. That'll be good for a few charges. Like that. Okay. Whoops. Give me that. Okay, so now that I got my tool, I can make modifications to my base, load it up. Let's say I want to put a hole here for a door now. So make sure I'm on disassemble. Yep. Over on the right hand side of your HUD, it shows you when you point at something with the multi-tool, it tells you what the damage is, and you can repair the damage or remove the block that you're looking at. What I'm doing is removing it, and then that'll appear in my inventory, back in my inventory. So I got my concrete block back. Now I can put a door here if I want. Now let's say I'm gonna put the fuel tank and the generator underneath my base. So I'm gonna remove one of these blocks. You could also just leave a hole when you're building your base, so you can do this. And then I'm gonna switch to my drill and drill a hole down. Getting me some more crushed stone here as I go, which is very handy for building. Alright, so now I got enough room underneath for my starter fuel tank, which is F5, number 5. Boom. Okay, I got my fuel tank down. Now I need my generator, number 6. Okay, this is in a weird shape. Oh, there it goes. Okay, and it turns blue when it's ready to place. So there, I got these buried under the ground, so I never have to see them again. Now, you have to actually access your fuel tank to put fuel in it. So I'll show you that trick on how you do that here. Let me cover this hole up first. Alright, so now we got a nice floor back on our base. And we've got no fuel in the tank. And we're like, but Gunny, how do I put fuel in my tank? Alright, let me introduce you to the control panel. You press P on your keyboard. That pulls up the control panel for your base. And you can see I'm actually standing in my base, and that's how I'm able to access the control panel. If I'm standing out on the ground and I hit P, nothing will happen. Because you have to actually be standing on the base, somewhere on the base. Anywhere on the base, but you have to stand on it. Okay, now you can access the control panel of the base. And you can see on the left the list of all the components that are installed on your base. And right on time, like I said, here comes the drones coming to attack my base because I got my generator and fuel tank in. So, like I said, how do you access your fuel tank? You hit P, bring up your control panel. There's your fuel tank. Click on it, double click, and then you can dump your fuel in it. Alright. Now you go back to your control panel, and you can see other statistics. You can rename your base here. Give it a name or whatever. And then also down here where it says private, this is how you select private or public or faction settings for your vehicles and bases. And if you're in a faction, you want to make sure everything's set for faction so that the vehicles and stuff will all gel together and dock and not shoot at each other when they go into PvP. It's important that you do that. Or you can keep it private if you don't want to be left alone or whatnot. You don't want people messing with your stuff. And you can set it to public if you want to make it like a publicly accessible city type building or whatever. Alright, so you can either put a checkbox in the powered thing to power your base, or you can use the hotkey to turn the base on and off, which is currently Y. Now, the more components and stuff you have in your base, the more power that it will consume. So let me take this crushed stone I got real quick back over to the survival constructor. Dump it in there real quick and crank out a couple more blocks. Drones are coming. And the drones, when they come to attack your base, they will always come from the same direction. And that is, they're coming from the drone base somewhere on the planet to attack your base. So every wave will always come from the same direction. So you want to keep that in mind when you are initially setting up your base defenses, because you don't have to have, turrets all around your base. If they're only going to be coming from one direction, you can have them all lined up on one end of your base, the one that they're coming from. So I'm basically waiting for them to show up. I'm going to take them on by hand with my assault rifle, which you can do. It's not impossible. And they will appear on your mini radar map as red triangles once they get in range of that, which is about 300. There they are. I just seen the first one right there. And they're coming from the east. So I'm going to hide right around the corner here because they will approach my base and try to attack it. It looks like there's only one of them, but the waves eventually get a little stronger. So luckily he's just a minigun. He's easy to take out. Is he going to hunt for me or is he going to come straight from my base? I don't know. I'm going to wait. Okay, he's in range now. Okay, he's shooting, so I'm going to blast him. Eat lead, drone. Alright. Drones are good for components and stuff, so I'm going to get all that stuff out of there. Thank you, droney. As you can see, he was shooting at my base. So, let's see. Yep, he was hitting that corner. Now, as I look at it with my repair tool, I can see that it's damaged. So, I'm going to switch to repair mode by right-clicking with my repair tool. And then repair that back up to its full health of 600. A little bit of splash damage here, too. Alright, so now I know I can put all my defenses on this side of the base, and I should be good to go. Okay, let me get my constructor queued up here. There, put all these goodies in the constructor. Is that all we got? Yeah, good enough. Well, I'm going to put the starter food things in there because I don't really need all that on me. That's what your growing plots look like. Consolidate some of this stuff here. Alright, so what do I need left for my constructor? Basically everything. Need another motor. Yeah, those are cheap enough, but I need computers, 2 computers. Let's take subcomponents, cables, and electronics. Got 2 computers and an extra motor. Okay, we need 2 control devices. Those are cheap enough. They don't take any subcomponents. Electronics, metal components, cables, and pipes. Okay, those are all single components. So we just need electronics, cables, metal components, and pipes. That's what I said. Yep. So I need some more metal components than that. I don't know. Yeah, a couple more pipes, and then we're good.
There's someone behind.
There she goes. Alright, so I got 30 concrete blocks. It's going to take a few seconds for that. Got some wood. I'll make a little wood deck outside. Some steel trim or something. Alright. Finally I can build some good stuff. Alright, we're going to take all our resources with us. We're going to put this stuff in the main constructor now. Alright, so this thing's 2x2, so we're gonna put it over here in the corner. Boom. There she is. So I'm gonna pick it up and rotate it because I wanna see the computer screen keyboard facing me. Hey, let's go disassemble. That's nice that it gives you the whole unit back. It used to break it down into the resources, and then you would have to rebuild the constructor or whatever that you broke down. But not anymore, which is way cool. Alright, so you rotate with the home and end keys. And you select which axis you're rotating on with the insert key. Rotate it this way so I can see the screen, which would be right here. This one, do I want to see it from this side? Yes, see it from this side. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Okay. Yep. Beep boop boop beep boop boop. Perfect. Alright, now we dump our other stuff back in here. Okie dokie. Oh yeah, these. Alright. Now let's get a roof over our heads. I'm gonna use my construction drone for this. Make some fancy little angles or something here. So, put this up. Is that one concrete? Wow. I thought I just had a whole bunch more, but I guess I just put them in the constructor. Yep, you dummy. Alright, build me a roof. Coming up here. Put my block. First I'm going to do a ramp top. Click and drag to here. Come on, you. Boom. Flip it around. Like that. Now I'll fill it in with flat blocks. Okay, now you can hold control to do like an area drag. And I can hold control, drag it to here, and I fill that all in. But I need more blocks, so it's not quite complete. Out here. I got my steel. Whoops. Got my steel and my wood. Okay. Make a little deck or something out here. Rotate it. Ooh, it's not very flat, is it? Let's make it up there or something. Huh? Oh, I was gonna use wood. Whatever. Be a multi-texture base. Now, as you can see, in the real world, a deck wouldn't be able to extend out like that without falling. And that's true in this game to some extent. So if I kept extending this deck out, eventually the whole thing will collapse and break and disappear. And that's something they implemented in here called structural integrity. And it checks to see, you know, if your construction is gonna survive, you know, gravity. So the way you can actually check that is you hold down the N key, N as in Nancy. That brings up the building tools menu, and from there you can select show structural integrity, and that toggles this color on, and green is good, and then as you extend out more, you can see that the color will start to change. It re-changes to green because it's actually touching the terrain here, but if this was higher up and sticking above the ground, then this would start to get darker until it eventually turned like orangish red, and then if you built further than that, the whole thing would collapse without additional supports. Yeah, that's how the structural integrity works. I'll put that deck here. Okay. And then I'm going to make some... I don't know if I can actually use these on the bottom, though, because... Nope. Because I used the thin piece to support it. You can't connect it underneath because it's empty space. But I can put these in front. Or I could just make a wall, wrap around wall. Some out of blocks there too. Anyways, you can have fun with different construction weirdnesses and stuff. And I was just gonna slap some turrets on that. Add some other blocks. Whoops. That's alright. Oh yeah, that's right, okay. 3 flats. Okay, good enough. You can, of course, retexture, and paint all this, so it doesn't look like this later. Alright. So I got a roof. I got a hole, I got a deck. Now let's get some turrets. Alright, I don't have any turrets I can build yet, so I gotta research them. So you go to your tech tree, and you go to base. Then you look down for your first weapon here. Cannon turret. And that's actually all I can build because I'm not level 5 yet. Good enough. So queue that up. I go in here, there it is. And as you can see, it's ready to build because this will automatically queue up the components. So just click that and look at it queue all those up automatically. Isn't that nice? Okay. And then that uses the 30 mil. Yeah, so 30 mil bullets. We'll queue up a bunch of those. And then the turrets on a base require, here they come, they require a ammo box. Oh, so I gotta unlock the ammo box too. So you go to miscellaneous on your tech tree, and then that's after cargo boxes. So you unlock cargo box, and then unlock ammo box. Okay. Gato! Alright, let me, turret. Yes. I got some bullets cooking. And then I'm going to need that ammo box. There's my ammo box coming. Ooh, that's a lot of ammo. So I'm going to stop that actually. DQ it. And then queue this back up. Okay. Like that. Like that. Alright, ammo box. I'm going to go ahead and put... let's see. They're coming from that way. So I'm going to put it on the opposite wall. Right in the corner here. Actually, I'm going to put it up in the corner like that. Throw that ammo in there. Queue up some more ammo. And I got my turret. So I'm going to put him out here first. Right about there. Take some more ammo. Throw it in this box up here. Alright. So got a few rounds in there. Now I hit P. I can access the cannon turret from the control panel. I hit R to preload it, so I don't have to wait for it to load when the drones come. Now, I can sit here and shoot them myself, or they go into automatic mode when you're not in them. We should probably build two. So I'm going to build the second one. And we are already out of magnesium, so that needs to be our priority, so we can craft some more ammo. So that would be our next mission. We go out and get some ammo in the form of magnesium. And that would be our next deposit over there. We can actually see one that I've discovered, so that would be our next destination. Alright, well, next on your quest list should be some base items and stuff, ammo and food, or O2 and food production. So you start following your quests and you'll be cruising around the galaxy in no time. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed this quick start guide for Empyrion. I hope I covered everything sufficiently. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments down below. And give me a like or a dislike if you did or didn't like this video. So thanks for stopping by. Thanks for sticking with it. Hope you have a great one. Take care.